music from Linkin Park is finally here. And tonight, live from the Wiltern in Los Angeles, it's the world premiere broadcast of their new album, Meteora. Welcome to the Linkin Park Radio Network.
Yes, we are live in Los Angeles, California. My name is Stryker. What's up? Linkin Park's in front of me. Meteora is coming out tomorrow. Before we get going, though, right now we are being heard in over 100 different cities in the United States, 100 radio stations. Also, people in Canada are listening right now. Australia via the Triple M network. Mexico City. Hola, mis amigos in Mexico. Me llamo Stryker. Gracias. Via Radioactive 98.5. Also in Auckland, New Zealand. Via Channel Z. So how many of you guys knew them when they were zero with an X? You don't have to raise your hand. You can say here. And then Hybrid Theory, of course. And then a band named Hybrid said, nuh-uh. And now, of course, Linkin Park, everybody. What's up, Mike?
Hi, Stryker.
How are you doing?
Chilling, man. We're doing good.
Excellent. Phoenix, what's up, man?
I can barely see you.
I can see you, though.
I'm moving.
You look handsome with your reddish goatee.
Thank you.
Chester, you're handsome.
What's
in
up,
anything.
brother?
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
You guys excited?
Yeah. This is incredible.
Excellent. I just want to continue with the rest of the guys. Brad, right in front of me.
No, that's actually Brad over there.
Oh, my God. Just to clarify.
The twins strike again.
You know what? Stryker, it's not the first time it's happened.
No, it's not.
People are constantly asking me to sign drumsticks.
You know why Stryker does that? Because every time he does that, I have to spank him 35 times. So he does it all the time.
Exactly. And it's not like I don't know them. I was thinking of him because I was going to talk about how when we were both sick, Brad and I, we ran into each other at the subway recently.
Which is where I eat every single day.
Exactly.
So it wasn't that much of a coincidence.
And how are you doing, Brad?
I'm excellent. I'm actually a little nervous that Chester's behind me and I can't see what he's doing.
It's going to be kind of like the bus.
If you haven't noticed, Brad's lost 285 pounds on the Subway diet.
Jared is his idol. And, of course, we have Mr. Han right in the middle of the posse right there. DJ Han. All right, Mike, tomorrow. And in some places, some parts around the country, it's out right now. Meteora is coming out. How excited are you?
Oh, we're not really excited.
Right.
It's just a record. It's just music. And, if you can imagine what it's like to have a finished record, for like 6 months in your hand and nobody else gets to hear it, it's like really... The suspense has been killing us, so we're really excited to get it out there.
Is there any nervousness among you guys? Chester, are you nervous about the success of it, or it's just you guys made the music, you're happy with it?
I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we be nervous?
Okay.
I'll let them answer for me, because I don't really like to think about that kind of stuff. I just like to think about going out and singing,
Right.
I'm thinking about the show tonight.
Yeah, you got the underground shows tonight at the Wiltern, another one tomorrow night, and as I mentioned a second ago, Meteora comes out tomorrow, and there's two different CDs which I have in my hand. One, Mr. Han, why don't you take this? One is just the music, correct, for Meteora, and the other has the DVD that comes with it?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Okay, Mr. Han, I'll have you removed by security.
I actually haven't even seen it yet.
Really?
Yeah.
You're still in the band, right?
Sometimes between 8 and 12 o'clock.
On odd days
Yeah.
that land on a Thursday.
Mike, what's up with the DVD if people choose to purchase that version?
Basically, the difference between the two, on the standard edition, which is the one you've got in your right hand, it's the one with the brown cover. You've got a 40-page booklet. You've got the album, of course. You've got the enhancements on the CD, which include like a 15-minute film about the making of the artwork. And there's a lot of other cool things on there. And the limited edition one, which is the bigger one, that includes all those things I just mentioned, plus a DVD, which is a 35-minute film about. Basically, it kind of describes making the album, what it was like to go through that 18-month process.
Is it a documentary style?
Yeah.
And so is it just some guy filming while you're singing, while you're writing, while you guys are
we
playing
had
instruments?
cameras out with us like the entire time from Ozfest. We started recording on the bus during Ozfest 2001, and in fact some of that stuff ended up on our DVD, and those cameras kept rolling throughout the entire process. So you can see it all happen.
Was that nerve-wracking at all, Chester, to have the cameras in front of you the entire time?
I don't know. I try not to really pay that much attention to them. The only time it was really kind of weird was when they were actually trying to videotape me actually recording some vocals and stuff. and I couldn't really do that, so I just goofed around and sang about wizards and dragons.
You guys will see. Actually, that's one of my favorite parts in the thing. It's pretty funny. There's some like joke stuff that goes on and whatever, and then in some of the footage we shot, we just kind of put a camera on a stand in this corner of the room and just let it run, and so that way we weren't really thinking about it. There wasn't like somebody there, there was no like invasive kind of element there. We just kind of were doing our thing with something happening in the corner.
Nice. Yeah. All right, well, let's play a song for Meteora, which comes out tomorrow. You ready for new Linkin Park music, you guys? All right, we're going to play a song called Don't Stay. We'll talk about it after we hear it. Here you go, Linkin Park, Don't Stay on the Linkin Park Radio Network. Excellent. For Meteora, that was Don't Stay from Linkin Park. It comes out tomorrow, which is Tuesday. We are live in L.A. at the Wiltern, where Linkin Park is going to play tonight. Wiltern is on Wilshire Boulevard, right at the corner of Western. If you've been to L.A. and you've gone to the La Brea Tar Pits, go down the street 2 miles, and that's where we're sitting, in the basement. In the basement for Freddie.
We did want to actually sit in the tar pits, but we didn't think that would be appropriate.
Exactly. Our asses would get all sticky, and that wouldn't be good, Chester.
We wanted to make it to the show tonight.
Good. And here you are. I want to talk about the way this record was put together and how long it took and when you started, and if you actually consciously started writing the record, or you were just on the road working on music, and then it came to be Meteora. Chester, maybe you want to start with this one?
Well, we did this record in like 4 different phases, kind of, over 18 months. We started recording in the back of a bus on Ozfest of 2001, and we pretty much just kind of used it as a tool to kind of do what we always do, because we're so used to writing all the time anyways. It's kind of weird for us not to be doing that. So we just wanted a way for us to, kind of go through that idea capturing kind of phase of just getting out, different ideas that all of us were thinking of. And then that kind of moved into, a whole slew of ideas that kind of turned into songs, about 40 songs or so. And then we cut those down in pre-production at Mike's house, and down to about 20 or so, 17 or so, before we went into the actual recording studio in Burbank called NRG. And then we worked on it there for a few months and fine-tuned that down to the 12 songs you hear on the record. And we finalized vocals and stuff in New York.
Now, the songs that didn't make the cut, I guess, what do you do with those? Are they done? You just don't like them, or they don't fit the vibe of Meteora?
We buried them in Johan's backyard.
Along with
in the
anything
song
else.
cemetery.
Some of them we put into a meat grinder and make sausage out of it. It's good.
What size sausage?
Very small.
Scheisse size sausages.
Brad, how does it work with the music and putting it together with the lyrics? Do you come up with something and give it to Mike or Chester?
Fortunately, I'm not involved in any of the lyric writing processes.
No, music. With the music.
Oh, with the music?
Yeah.
We all collaborate. If someone has an idea, we'll bring it in. We actually work a lot using Pro Tools, which is on the computer, as opposed to how people used to do things on a tape machine. And the cool thing about working digitally is you can constantly change things and move things around. So we don't necessarily all sit together in a practice studio and learn a song, and then if Rob wants to make a change, 5 of us want to kill him. It's actually really flexible. And that allowed us to get a lot of different ideas down, and ultimately, as Chester said, weave them down to the ones that made it onto the record.
What about sampling, Johan? Were you involved in coming up with different things, or you had ideas before going into the record or while it was being made?
Yeah, I think during that Ozfest period, Mike and I came up with a lot of samples. And the way we approach it is we create our own samples rather than just lifting off someone else's records. We'll come with ideas and come up with more synthetic sounds, whether it be a keyboard or, Mike breaking a CD player on his desk,
right,
or something like that. It comes from all sorts of different places, and then eventually I put it onto my vinyl and then cut it up.
So was there ever a sound effect or a sound that was maybe 2 seconds long that you extended that throughout an entire song? Like every 15 seconds you would hear that beat or something like that?
Actually, I think a lot of, in all the samples that we do, we have to come up with them from somewhere, and it's kind of hard. Like you'll hear something in your head and you won't know what that is, and you've got to figure out a way to make that a sound, One thing that I think is a really interesting story, that this Somewhere I Belong, the sound that you hear in the beginning of that, originally was an acoustic guitar. Chester was playing, he came into the bus during Ozfest and he said, I think, I really like this thing, and he played it. And the chord progression of it was really, really nice, but the fact that it was acoustic guitar, the sound of that sounded a little weird to us. And Joe and I messed with it, and I manipulated it in the computer and whatever, and Joe had this idea to turn it backwards. And basically, after all this working and editing, it turned into that sound you hear, that sweeping kind of digital sound you hear in the beginning of the song, which doesn't sound anything like an acoustic guitar, but it's got the chord progression that Chester played. So, it's those things I think that make Meteora, that give it kind of a different mood and give it its own personality. It's got like a common thread through Hybrid Theory and Reanimation, and now Meteora. Like, you can hear that it's Linkin Park, but obviously those things make it different.
So like a lot of different elements that we're trying to weave together when we write, and we've done that with Hybrid Theory and with Reanimation. We really wanted to make sure with Meteora that a lot of the electronic elements didn't get necessarily buried. So we spent extra attention working on those sounds, and also in the mix making sure that you can really hear everything, because we really wanted to create a cinematic record that's three-dimensional and you can hear tons of different things. And I think it's fun because these are the type of songs that you might hear something the first time, but maybe the 10th time you hear it, hopefully you'll start to notice the little detailed work that we put into them.
Okay. Another thing that Rob and I felt was great was we both got the chance to sit down and really have a discussion about what we wanted to do as far as maturing on our instruments with this record, and we were really able to create 10 tracks of bass and drum solos that we thought turned out great. And so with the new record, I think it's nice to have 2 radio songs and 10 drum and bass solos. It's kind of the next
Is
the
it
next
being
big
smart,
thing.
Aleky? Because I haven't asked Phoenix a question yet. I'm gonna get.
Yeah, I'm feeling neglected.
I think he's just feeling
neglected. We're gonna hug pretty soon, but I want to play the first single from Meteora, and Mike was just talking about the sounds in the beginning. So this is "Somewhere I Belong," Linkin Park for Meteora. Check it out right now, you guys, on the Linkin Park Radio Network. Linkin Park, "Somewhere I Belong."
What's really cool? What's really cool is we've been playing a few shows. We did, I don't even know how many, maybe 10 or 12 shows so far. And, even from the second show, people were already learning, words of the songs. Our first show, there were people out there who had they already knew all the words of the songs, and this was in, another country and everything. And by the time we got to the UK, for somehow, I don't know how it happened, but people knew every lyric to every new song, and here everybody's singing all the words of the songs, and it's crazy. I'm sitting here just kind of in awe,
Right.
I can't get over how dedicated our fans are. It's just amazing to us.
You know what else was a really big up? You know what else was a funny phenomenon though? Like the first show, the one before they started singing it, they were trying to learn it actually at the show. I'm not even joking. Yeah, all these guys were singing. After we came backstage after the first show, we were like, "Did you see those kids who were on people's shoulders? Who at the first chorus they're watching you, trying to figure out the words. Second chorus they're starting to figure it out and try and mouth it. Third chorus they're actually trying to sing along, and they don't even know the words are yet. I mean,
that is awesome.
You can't really tell, but
the other funny part of that is they don't really know English because we're in Milan, Italy.
They're Italian, and their mouths are moving Italian words, and who knows what we're saying in Italian.
We're going to get into about playing all the new songs and all that pretty soon. We're about to take a break, but I have an email question here from Lena at linkinpark.com. She was wondering why you chose Somewhere I Belong as the first single. I've heard that it is the most optimistic, so it doesn't sound like a song that represents the rest of the CD. Is it your favorite, or did you just think it was catchy and would remind people how amazing you are after being gone for so long?
We didn't actually choose it. We let these secret society of people in the label that know what they're doing when it comes to picking singles do it.
Yeah, see the guy waving in the back of the room? He's part of the secret society.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not
really
secret anymore.
It's really funny though, because we, as a lot of you probably know, that we're pretty particular about the way we're, the things that we do. We want to be really involved in all the stuff that we do, and so it was kind of a big step for us to be able to kind of let go of the reins at one point and say, we like all these songs pretty equally. And we aren't capable of making this decision at this point, because at that point, we worked on the record for 18 months, and you've got 18 months worth of attachment to the songs. We couldn't pick a favorite.
It's like having kids. You don't know which one is your favorite.
Yeah.
All right, we have to take a break. More with Linkin Park, more new songs from Meteora, which comes out tomorrow, and we'll be back right after this.
Linkin Park Meteora World Premiere broadcast, brought to you by Best Buy, will continue live from the Wiltern in Los Angeles right after this. Welcome back to Park's Meteora, the world premiere broadcast, live from the Wiltern in Los Angeles.
All right, we are back. I'm Stryker in LA at the Wiltern. As the voice man just said, we are on in over 100 USA stations, on in Canada, Australia, Mexico City, Auckland, New Zealand. Meteora is coming out tomorrow. We're about to play Line From You. And Rob, who I haven't spoken to a lot yet, what's your vibe on this song, The Take? When you hear this song, what do you feel?
Well,
besides tingly inside?
I definitely get the tingles inside for sure. But for me, performing the songs is the best. And you spend a lot of time trying to come up with certain parts for songs, and once it's all done and recorded, getting out and playing it live is the best feeling. So for playing all the songs, I really enjoy, and it's a time just to just go crazy. For me, I play the drums, so I get all my anger out when during the shows. So I can pretty much be a pretty mellow, kick-back guy during the day, and I save it all up and let it all out.
Do you still have to think when you're playing the new songs, like, where am I going next, or do you have it down perfectly right now?
I think I got it down by now, yeah.
Excellent.
The beginning of the tour was a little tough. We were kind of, I think for all of us, we were in a practice studio, and we had everything down, but once you get in front of people, we hadn't played in a year, so you get this huge rush of adrenaline that you're not expecting or you kind of forget about, and you have to learn to kind of play with that again. So we've been touring about a month now. I think we're getting into the swing of things.
It's funny. I think that when we first started playing, like some of us were rushing parts and stuff like that because of the adrenaline.
I actually forgot how to use my legs during the first show.
Chester forgot his legs.
And I fell over.
But you're okay now.
I'm okay now. I can handle the adrenaline rush.
He did this great tuck and roll move, got right back on his feet.
What Chester doesn't know is actually kind of pushed him from behind.
And the Swiss judge gave you a 9.6.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, this is track number 4 from Meteora's Linkin Park's Meteora, vice versa. It's coming out tomorrow. It's called Line From You on the Linkin Park Radio Network. Check it out. Yeah, you guys like that song? Line From You from Meteora, which comes out tomorrow from Linkin Park. Mike, Phoenix, Chester, Rob, Joe, and Brad are all here in front of us at the Wiltern where you guys are playing. You've been doing the underground shows, and those are basically for your fan club members. Is that right, Mike?
Yes.
Or anyone can take that?
Borden?
Yeah, I'll take that one.
Mike
Okay.
Borden.
Mike Borden?
Yeah, we really want to do something, at the beginning of this touring cycle to give back to our fans. We're a band that's kind of just grown up with our fans. We started off on the internet trying to find, handpick one person at a time just to come listen to any of our music. So we always had this open relationship and a communication. And after shows, we would kind of go and hang out at the merch booth and talk with our fans after all the shows. And it's something that's always been alive. So, as we've continued to grow into bigger and bigger venues, we've had to do things like create a fan club to keep this relationship alive and do special things for our fans. So, after finishing up the last touring cycle, we toured for 2 years and ended up playing in arenas. We wanted to come back out and just do something really cool for all our fans and the people in the LPU. And we did about 2.5 weeks in Europe, and we're doing about 2 weeks in the States. And everybody in our fan club gets in for free and has some time to hang out and chill with us.
And now is this tour going to take you guys into the summer sanitarium, or is there something in between?
Yeah, actually, we're doing a festival tour that we started last year. We hope we can do every year. It's called Project Revolution.
Oh yeah. Excellent.
And we want to do that. I mean, we want this tour to go on, whether or not we're on it. This year we are on it. And it's going to be Blindside, Exhibit, Mudvayne, and us. There's going to be some other entertainment in between, some B-boys and emceeing and scratching and whatnot. Really, really cool. It's going to be a really exciting tour. But as usual, like the information for this tour and Summer Sanitarium is up on our site. Project Revolution will be on our site as well. And there's a projectrevolution.com site where all our tour information is online.
Okay, let's talk about Summer Sanitarium since you just mentioned Project Revolution and who's on it. So Metallica and Limp Bizkit, Deftones,
and
Mudvayne.
Huge bands. Mudvayne, sick, crazy
The Beatles.
bands.
The Beatles.
I
are
can't
just
believe the
confirmed.
Beatles are on Summer Sanitarium this year.
crazy.
They're playing the side stage, but
Is Barry Manilow on it this year? Or
no,
is-
No,
he's
no.
not.
just the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, I think, too.
Well, all of them are alive, so they didn't qualify.
And I think Elvis may be doing some guest appearances.
Right.
All right, Brad. How and why did you decide to go on the Summer Sanitarium?
Well, I mean, it really wasn't a decision of do you want to do it? I mean, Metallica asked you to go tour, and you go, okay, that's great, let's go tour. And then you're just kind of like, I wonder who else is going to be on the bill, And then and they said it when they asked us if we'd be interested in also going out with Limp Bizkit. We were like, oh, wow, this is gonna be great. And then Mudvayne and the Deftones dropped in, and I mean, it just turned into the opinion one of the best tours that's been put together in like the last 10 years.
It's gonna be huge,
and it's gonna be talked about
the best
for a
tour
long
in the
time.
last 10 years.
Yeah, that's my opinion because these are my. That's me. These are like the Deftones are one of my favorite bands ever. Limp Bizkit, they're a great live act. They have a few really good records, and Metallica is just a bomb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Metallica, you can't even say anything about it.
They're the Rolling Stones
everybody.
of our time. I think.
I mean, they're one of the biggest bands in the world. So what can you say?
Right.
And Mudvayne, they're just so creative and so interesting live, and they're really great. So the whole bill to me is really exciting. To be part of.
Right.
We were talking about this earlier. I mean, we'd be excited to go buy tickets for it if we weren't playing. So. If that says anything about it.
Well, a lot of people are going to be buying tickets for it, Mike. Stadiums. Guys are playing the Coliseum here in LA.
We're going to go buy tickets for it to go see ourselves.
Can I have your seats, please? All right, we're hanging out with Linkin Park in LA. We're going to play another new song from Meteora. I guess they would all be new since the CD is not out yet. It comes out at midnight. You can go buy it at midnight as well, and it's out in some places. Here's a song. It is called Numb from Linkin Park on the Linkin Park Radio Network. Check it out.
Linkin Park, Meteora, the world premiere broadcast, live from the Wiltern in Los Angeles. This is the Linkin Park Radio Network.
Not just live in LA at the Wiltern, we are in the basement. We're in the basement of the Wiltern, sitting on really expensive plastic chairs. You would think I could get some sort of foam on my ass, and especially the guys in Linkin Park with no backrest. Anyways, Meteora comes out tomorrow. We have some emails here that I'm going to read to you. Obviously, there's a lot going on in the world right now, and this is just a reminder. Hey, LP, greetings from Kandahar, Afghanistan. My name is PFC Bowers, Robert A. My question is, have you guys ever thought of doing a USO show? Because that would kick ass.
I think that's something we would totally do, if our schedule permits, in terms of like what's going on in the world. We just really hope that all of our troops come back safely and as soon as possible.
I agree. Here we go. Hi, Chester, Brad, Mike, Joe, Rob, and Phoenix. Now it says directed to Joe. At what age did you start scratching, and how much did you spend on your equipment?
I actually started DJing before I learned how to scratch. I just learned how to scratch like 2 months ago.
Joe.
No, seriously. Probably about 7 years ago.
The funny thing, Stryker, about how you phrased that question, I think Mike and I were just laughing about it, is that we were in Japan this one time. We got a letter from a fan, and it said, Dear Brad, Joe, Rob, Chester, Mike, and bass player man. So we were waiting for bass player man. We were waiting for it.
Give it up for Phoenix, everybody. The bass player.
Bass player man.
No, he's more than that. He's a tremendous slouch.
I think bass had a possession. I don't remember what it's called, but it would actually had read as bass's player man, which was pretty great.
Apostrophe S.
All right, here's
ownership.
Here's an email that has a lot of sarcasm in it, but a tad serious, I guess. Are you guys afraid your new album is going to totally blow it, and then you'll be forced to play at crappy clubs, and that band that used to be cool, which will eventually lead to a downhill spiral of heavy drinking and drugs until you can't play instruments and you'll be forced to work at McDonald's? And the only major source of income will come from MTV's Behind the Music, in which you guys will slander each other. Or maybe you'll have to resort to appearing on Hollywood Squares.
Yeah.
Or maybe you'll end up in a 1-800-COLLECT commercial.
Word. Yeah, dude. Yeah, actually.
This is from Kevin, who lives in Maple Ridge, British Columbia,
Kevin
Canada.
is winning the award for the best email so far.
Kevin, you're awesome.
That's funny because we just signed up to do a series of 1-800 commercials.
No, you didn't.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not gonna say.
Actually, my plans over the next few years, of the downward spiral when this record flops, when it comes out tomorrow, is to go into wrestling.
Nice, excellent.
Yeah.
And what would your stage name be?
Well, Joe and I are working on a shtick. We're called the Sugar Brothers. It's pretty entertaining. He's my manager. I'm going for the smallest man ever.
You should see.
to wrestle
he's my
in pro
manager,
wrestling.
too.
You can't. I mean, you haven't lived until you see Chester in a unitard, anyway.
Hopefully you can't see the unit. Can you see the unit? Is it pointing east or west?
It's a big sock.
North.
It kind of goes in both directions.
Depends on which way he packs it. You know,
right.
that
It's
sock
It's headed
fits
toward
in
his
there.
chin.
It's like a boomerang.
It's like a slinky, a mind of its own. Up the stairs and down.
Well, this whole thing is going down the toilet real fast.
Well, that's
isn't
why
it?
we're going to play a song
Yeah,
Kevin's
from
fault.
Meteora, which
Save
sounds
us.
fantastic. All right, you guys, what song are we playing? Are we playing From the Inside? Yes, we are. It's song number 10 from Meteora. Here you guys go. From the Inside from Linkin Park.
Welcome back to Linkin Park's Meteora, the world premiere broadcast, live from the Wiltern in Los Angeles.
Here we are, you guys, coming close to wrapping up with Linkin Park. Meteora is coming out in stores on Tuesday in some places in the world. You can probably go get it. We're on in all over. Where are we on, Mike? I've already forgotten. We're on Australia, Mexico,
Alcatraz.
Auckland, New
Yes,
Zealand.
Auckland, New Zealand.
Yes.
Seoul, Korea.
No, we're not.
I don't think we're on in there. Sorry, Mr. Hahn.
Bakersfield.
Boo.
Fresno.
Blasphemers.
Here's an email question from Eric, who lives in West Covina. Where does the name Meteora come from, and whose idea was it to name your new album Meteora?
Guys.
Let's go for the bassist Phoenix.
All right. Let me get ready for this answer. I don't know. I've never.
$10,000, Phoenix. What's the answer?
The funny thing is that I've never actually gotten to answer this one before.
It has to do with a Greek word, I think, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it's terribly sarcastic, and I don't know if that translates well to radio, but obviously it doesn't from the dead silence in the room. I used to be actually when I was in school. I wanted to be a comedian, and I studied comedy for a while.
Right.
And luckily, I'd been playing bass for a longer period of time.
We're very lucky. All right, who
I'm
was
very,
someone-
I'm very lucky.
Phoenix.
So anyways, I'll take over.
Yes,
I'll take over
Chester.
this one.
No.
We got the name.
I got it.
You got it?
I got it.
Okay.
We don't have all day. You guys have a show pretty soon.
I know. I'm stalling.
Okay.
Actually, we were touring in Europe, and there was travel catalogs in the back of the bus. And I think it was Joe at one point that saw the name originally. And it wasn't, at that point, I don't think we'd even really started writing the record. But we just liked the idea of what the picture conveyed of the place. It was just this large, real epic feeling, really scenic location in Greece where they have these huge rocks jutting out of like the water, and on top of which there's like a series of, I don't know, I've heard between 10 and 20 monasteries. And so the idea then was, wouldn't it be great to have a record that carried that same quality, that same timelessness, or that same feeling of being larger than life? And so when it came time to actually name the record at the end of the process, we all kind of gravitated still towards that name.
And there it is.
Great answer.
And it
Phoenix.
comes out
You
tomorrow.
really-
Very
you really
good.
Turn that around.
Phoenix, everybody.
It was worth the wait, huh?
It was, well, no, not really. I'm just kidding. It was worth the wait.
Put some barbecue
I
sauce on it.
dare you, Stryker, to ask me the next question.
The next question or the next
The
question?
next question.
Will you date me? All right, we do have a crowd here, and we have, this is Joe, right?
You didn't let me answer.
You got to speak into the... Oh, what is the answer?
Let's
I
go
don't
to
have
Joe.
a witty answer.
Okay, this is Joe from Bakersfield. Ask away.
What was your guys' inspiration for creating the Reanimation CD?
The Reanimation. Actually, when we did Hybrid Theory, as we were recording it, we were kind of thinking that we wanted to remix the songs. As weird as that sounds, it had always been an idea in our heads, just because when we were doing that album, we wanted to come out, we knew it was our first, a lot of people's first experience with the band. We knew that for, a lot of people that'd be the first time they heard from us. And we didn't want to convolute it with any, with other artists coming in and whatever. We just wanted to just be us. So since we did want to work with other artists, we thought, eventually what we want to do is get together and do some remixes where we can, work with maybe the Black Thought from the Roots, or maybe, all these other people that eventually you hear on Reanimation. And another just interesting thing that happened with that whole process is just that it really got us in the studio. It got us thinking of different ways of recording music, because all those people on Reanimation kind of taught themselves to make music in different ways. And every group does that, there's no set way to do it, and you get in there with that many artists and you get that many ideas. So when we got in the studio for Meteora, we had kind of more things to play with, more ideas of ways to write a song to play with. it was really cool.
I thought one of the cool things about Reanimation was it just wasn't your songs with like 6 extra scratches on it. Like you seriously reanimated each song like it was from scratch.
You don't like scratching?
I love scratching, Mr. Hahn. But you get what I'm getting at.
It was a really fun record for us to make because we basically made a wish list of all the people that we would be on, love to collaborate with, not thinking any of them would actually return our phone calls.
Right.
But we actually got pretty much everyone on board, from different producers and mixers to actual, lyricists and MCs and singers and people who play instruments. And it was just a big orgy of creativity.
Sexy.
What? All right, here's another audience question. Art from West LA.
This question is directed to Chester. I go to UCLA, and I know a couple of voice majors that do this, but have you ever put Vaseline in the back of your throat to like increase your range?
That's crazy. No.
I don't think that's why they put it there.
Thanks, Joe.
Joe Hahn is the comedian.
Joe. I actually, all I do is I drink tea and lots of water, and I sleep a lot. Those are my secrets.
Good secrets.
Yeah.
We're going to play another song from the record, Breaking the Habit. Can Mike, you want to talk about the song briefly before we play it?
I think the one thing that people notice right off the bat is that the guitars aren't like really in the forefront on this song, and we wanted to kind of try something different. And it originally started out as an instrumental track, 2 minutes long. We extended it, and the extended version kind of made me think of these lyrics that I had been trying to write for about 5 years, and every time I wrote them, they didn't work. They were cheesy, or they just didn't say the thing I wanted them to say. All of a sudden, I listened to this track, and they just came out in 2 hours. And I showed him to Chester, and we both looked at him and we were just like, this is it. It's done. It was the weirdest, easiest thing. And he sang them, and we're really happy with it. So we're really proud of it.
And
Fantastic.
to get the range that you hear on the bass on this track, I actually put Vaseline on my fingers in the studio. So
cool.
And that's no bass. All right, let's check out the song Mike was just talking about. This is called Breaking the Habit, you guys. Track 9 for Meteora, Linkin Park. Here we go. Man, that was fantastic. Breaking the Habit, Linkin Park of Meteora. Seems like there's a lot going on in that song, different things, Mike.
Well, one thing that we really that you can hear in that song that happens elsewhere on the album, but that song in particular has a 10-piece orchestra in it, and we and some live piano, things like that. I think on this album, that's another thing that kind of gives it some character and the distinct mood. Just the live instruments and the things that we wanted to play around with. So that's all I want. I just wanted to throw that in because it's to me that's an important part of the album. It's a cool thing to listen for.
It seems to me, and probably the Linkin Park fans as well, when you and Chester are on the mic and he's singing and you're emceeing and you're doing your thing, it seems like you've known each other since you were kids. But Chester came from Phoenix, so my question is, how and why do you think you guys vibed? What happened?
That's your boy right there.
Chester came from Phoenix.
Chester?
Phoenix begot Chester.
Yes.
I didn't birth Chester.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
We have showered together, though. We do shower, and sometimes we bunk together.
But it's like a locker room.
Yeah, it's like a locker room kind of shower thing,
All right, New Zealand's like,
It's not weird.
what's going on out there?
Yeah.
What the hell is this?
We're from California.
What was the question?
My question is, you guys vibe really well when you're on stage, and it seems like the writing as well. Why does that happen? How did it happen, and why does it continue to happen?
I don't know. I think what's really cool about how we write songs as a band, and even how Mike and I work together when we write lyrics, is the fact that the only thing that matters to us is how good the song is at the end of the day, and whether or not the lyrics mean something to us and mean something to not just me and Mike, but to everybody that listens to it, and they walk away feeling something, and that's something that's important. I think that, and keeping that in mind, when we work together, kind of, I think, makes us work really well together. It makes us as honest as we possibly can, because we're thinking of what's going to be the best outcome for the song. We're not thinking of how much Mike gets to rap in a song, or how much I get to sing, or whatever. You know what I mean? We're just thinking, what part is going to work the best, and what lyrics are going to be the most meaningful and truthful and honest.
You know what else is cool? I went to school, which is an art school. For every project, you'd have to spend hours and hours working on it, and then you put it up in front of your class, and you get 30 people basically rip it apart. They basically tell you what's wrong with it, and that breaks down your ego as far as your creative process. It breaks down your ego really quickly, and you get to learn how to take other people's information with a grain of salt, and then see if you agree or don't agree. And so for Joe and I, that's something that we had already kind of learned in school, and some of the other guys, they kind of got that thing. That's kind of why we came together as a band, is because we can work in that way where if somebody else says, hey, look, that's not going to cut it, you listen to them, and there's no, you put your ego aside and you try and do what's best. And one thing that I found that Chester and I, that we're lucky to have with Chester, being that he was like the last person to join the band, was just that he has that too. That's one reason why we were really happy to be able to find him, because we can get together and work on it, no ego.
Now, how often do you and Chester come up with something like a hook that you're like, this is the best ever, and then you give it to the band, they're like, this ain't that good?
All the time.
Half the
Seriously?
All the time.
Half the stuff that we write, the rest of the band goes, eh.
Yeah, I mean,
it's okay. It's good.
I mean, we wrote 40 choruses for Somewhere I Belong.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
So it was like.
So it took that many for them to say yes, that's it.
And we wrote Breaking the Habit once. It's like you never know what's gonna happen.
The thing is like even it's like it's not that they're bad versions. It's just that like Brad came in the studio one day and me, Mike, and Don were all like, this is it. This is the chorus. And Brad came in and he was like, yeah, you guys could do better. And we were like, what? And he was like, well, every time you've gone back and rewrote it before, every time you come back, it's better. So what makes you think going and rewriting it again isn't going to create something better?
Right.
And so like the last day on the last hour and the last day of tracking, Somewhere I Belong came together and we recorded it, and that was like.
And now it's the first single.
And that was it.
Damn.
That song took 2 years to finish.
And it sounds great, as does the album. Meteora comes out on Tuesday. We need to give Don Gilmore some love, because I think he was just mentioned that one time, but fantastic job by that guy once again, which is awesome.
Big up to Don.
Big up, man.
Big up.
And that is basically all the time we have with you guys. So thank you so much to Linkin Park for hanging out.
Thanks a lot, you guys.
Good luck with the new record. Go ahead, Brad.
I'd like to thank all the fans, too, all the supporters and people who came out today.
Street team.
For sticking around.
So we're going to take a break. You guys are going to do sound check or eat or do your thing, and we're going to watch you play at the Wiltern tonight. So we're taking a break, but when we come back, we're going to hear live music from Linkin Park on the Linkin Park Radio Network. Thanks, you guys.
Live music from Linkin Park when the Meteora world premiere broadcast continues on the LP Radio Network.